So, this is my terror moment, okay? This is episode 2. And no, I have yet to make this podcast super professional like I want. I have yet to do my hair. This is what we're working with. Okay, so I'm just going to keep this hat on because 5 days from my period, I don't give a two freaking shits about it, okay? I got this hat and we're going to rock this hat until I come back. And when I come back, you'll see. So episode 2, how is this going to go? Let's see. Pre-PMS me want to be like, forget the world because this is a tower moment, okay? And I believe I'm not the only one having a tower moment, okay? I couldn't be the only one. So if you don't know what a tower moment is, it's when there's sudden erupt changes in your life. And they're supposed to help you become better, okay? Now, you'll have several of these tower moments where everything just all of a sudden changes in your life, okay? My tower moment is happening right now. And I actually asked Spirit for a tower moment because I wanted to stop doing Uber and Lyft because people can't keep their damn hands off of me, not just in a sexual way, but even in this. I hate being touched by strangers because I know about energy transfers, and energy transfers are real, especially when you have magnetic energy. People can't help themselves. They come up to me out of the store, anywhere I go, they come up to me and they try to siphon my energy constantly. And then other people don't understand because I tell them about this, or I made my TikTok. I shut my TikTok down, by the way. And they don't understand because they're like, nobody ever tries to touch me. You're not the one with magnetic energy. Since other people understand, it's not just me. Other people understands exactly what I am talking about. But some people understand nothing. Okay, I get it. But the fact remains is when your energy is magnetic, people attract to it and they want to siphon you, especially old white people. Old black people do it too. But really, everybody does it. But the people who's come up to me the most is older white people. Now, a few times I've been siphoned by older black people, like older black women. They'll come up to you in the store and act like they are, oh, girl, da, 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 da. And then they find some way to touch you. They don't know you. Siphon. So let's go back to what we were recapping on the first episode, which we were in the Word. And we were talking about the world and how the churches are scattered. The flock of the church is scattered because the pastors have no spirituality. Jeremiah 10:21, I believe. Why do they have no spirituality? I'm going to tell you why. Because this is going to be deep. Now, I don't know where this podcast is going, but I'm led by Spirit. The reason why they have no spirituality or very little spirituality is because they are hooked on the divine masculine energy. Let me explain. Throughout the rewriting of history, the divine feminine has been excluded, even though the divine feminine is alpha and omega of this reality. Everything derives from divine feminine. But even when we pray or reference God himself, we are still taking on divine masculine characteristics when that is not the nature of who we are. Everything in this reality, boom, everything in this reality is derived from divine feminine. Ain't no arguments there. You can bring scientists in this. Yeah, they done tried to breed two males together. They do some crazy jacked up stuff in them laboratories. It all goes into a perverted state when you don't have divine feminine and divine masculine. And you see which one is higher. And I hate to say it, but it's true. So women always make the argument, you don't see men giving birth. That's not the argument I'm making, because we all know that. We all know that. But what you... Spirit confirmed once again, baby. So, at this moment, let's say we're in a tower. And this entire United States, let alone the world too, but I'm just focusing on the U.S., we are in a tower moment. This is a moment where hundreds of thousands of indigenous American Indians have woke up to know that they are not derived from Africans, which we already knew. They have found the history, which we didn't know. They have learned about our Egyptian roots. We have learned about what was on this continent, in this country, before 200 years ago in the other Great Reset. And we have woken up. We're woken up to the point where the Native Americans are backlashing because of the truth being told, even though we learned the truth initially from the Mongolian/Native American. They will argue you down, even though you can go to Google right now. And I say Google, and I hate to say it, but we have impregnated Google. We have given Google the power it has. Google is an AI engine that has been getting educated on us for 30 years. And you can show me pictures of the Mongolian, Siberians, and go to images. You will see the same people that inhabit this land thinking that they the ones who built it up, when they have no knowledge of the copper, no knowledge of the gold. They have no knowledge of the buildings that's been here for thousands of years made of limestone. They have no knowledge of the Tartarians. They have no knowledge of the free electricity that went over the world. If your people wasn't beaten until they got brainwashed and your stories were passed down from generation to generation, why didn't you say, oh, we done built this building in downtown Tulsa that's been here for 300 years? Art Deco. Because, and then those same skills are taken from your bloodline. Why didn't you able to chisel and make those same skills with your new communities that you have? And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being real. Real than a motherfucker. You know why? Because you came over here, most of y'all came over here 200 years ago on those boats. It wasn't us, it was you. And the other part of you that was already here living up in no man's land in those damn teepees, because we let anybody come here that wanted to have peace come here. Okay? We let them do business on our land. And these people, as soon as they could, they was happy to take our birthright, happy to evict us off our land, take our precious treasures, and call them their own, and pay $5 to be on the Dolls Roll and become an Indian. It's funny how none of those pictures from the 1900s in the papers depict you, but they depict us. So there's no more arguments on it. These are facts. Our birthright was stolen by every nation. The real Egyptians is us. The Moors is us. The so-called Native Americans, which are really the American Indians, copper-colored people, is us. The real Asiatic people are dark-skinned. Us, 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 us. And those people over there in Israel, where the place that we call Israel, that wasn't never Israel, they get paid billions of dollars to keep up the lie. And now they're running the show just to keep the lie. The lie is so important that they would pay people, foreign interests, to keep the lie and have us working on our backs to do it. Well, so why wouldn't they just say, oh, let's just get rid of these people because they own the whole planet, basically. And I'm not saying the whole planet, but I mean the whole planet. They own the whole planet. They was here before any of us showed up. They have ancient DNA that we've studied. They have regenerative cells. Their plasma is worth thousands of dollars, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, but we got to pretend like everybody's plasma is what we want. That's why we're going to set up shop in every ghetto. Every chance we get, we're going to try to take their wisdom teeth, even though ain't nothing wrong with them, because those crystals are worth money. Oh, yeah, and if we can get an organ that they really don't need like that, let's just get their spleen, their gallbladder, or whatever else we can. If that was the case, why wouldn't they just get rid of us? They bomb us, they scare us, they try to put fear in our hearts. Even right now, the police stop you, the first thing gonna try to do is put fear in your heart. But he wouldn't put fear in his mama heart. You know why? Because we are the commodity. We are the commodity. Whenever somebody gets sick and they are rich and they are of Caucasian nature, the first thing they're going to do is give them some of my plasma, some of my blood. Think I ain't lying. Think I'm lying. You know I ain't lying if you listening to this. I ain't lying about nothing. It's all games. And then when they had all that game down, they said, oh, no. We don't got enough from these motherfuckers. Now let's put them in mental slavery through the corporate structure. Without your permission, when you came out and the doc delivered you from the vessel, the doc delivered you from the vessel of the water, you was abandoned at sea and your mama signed you into the corporation. They gave you a bond. It's on bond paper. Worth millions of dollars. Millions. Oh, but instead of us living it up like, oh, we got the corporation. We here. We got our house. We got us some food. Oh, we chilling. No. That wasn't enough. They had to say, well, we started this Federal Reserve because the Queen wanted that loan. Because we had already messed up on our business plan after we got our freedom because we wasn't nothing but some damn servants too. But we wasn't. They was. They was. He said, no. We going to have to get them another way because they going to prosper too much. Because we done already said, well, y'all can live in the corporation as long as you sign over. You think it wasn't a campaign? I'm going to tell you how I know this. I'm not just talking. I'm angry, yeah, but I'm not just talking. So I went into the census information and I looked up my family. I seen my granddaddy, who would have been like 97 right now. My granddaddy was born in I believe he was born in like 1929. And he didn't have a birth certificate. He applied, they gave him a social security number in the 1950s. That's how long it took them to get this structure in place. Because they signed the New Deal in the 1930s. They got the money from the Queen. They agreed that, okay, we're going to be under maritime law. But then they had to get the whole country on board. That took a while. So if you as old as me and your grandparent was born in the 30s or the 40s, they don't have a birth certificate. They was just probably starting that in the 40s. And that had to get, it took a while to get everybody on board because most of them was born with midwives. They had to get rid of the midwife or get the midwife on board to register with the corporation so they can create the bond. At that time, you was being insured for, I believe, $630,000 and being bonded for $630,000. After, I believe, 75, you was being insured for $1 million and bonded for $1 million. And it grows in perpetuity ever since then. Yes, Jordan Maxwell. If you know, you know. So they can start paying attention. What are they up to? Making me the debtor and the creditor to all my own money. How is this your money? It's in your name. Fidelity hold it right there. Don't let me say too much because I can tell you how to look it up, how to see it. This podcast ain't about that. This podcast is a spiritual podcast, but all this is spiritual too. Because as contracts are in this reality, contracts are in the spiritual realm too. As above, so below. As within, so without. Now you catching me. Now you getting caught up. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to go too hard because trust me, I can go for hours and hours because I don't want to get you all messed up and mixed up. And it's so much going on. There's so many different parts to this. But spirit, you can say God, you can say the Holy Spirit. I don't care. Say spirit. Spirit has set me down over the last few years and given me this ancient knowledge. And I said, Spirit, why am I learning all of this? Why? 5 years ago, me and Jesus would have cussed all y'all out. And then Spirit said, why not you? Why not you? I dealt with trying to have the confidence, trying to say I didn't want to do nothing. Now I'm at a point where I have to. So I don't know if anybody's going to see these videos. The last time Spirit had me doing something on my TikTok, channeling this big old message in all these different languages, I said, okay, ain't hardly nobody see my message, see my videos unless I'm talking about something stupid like, white people not closing their curtains, which I'm looking at my neighbors right now and their curtains is open, which they was open last night too. Anyways, that's another story about them curtains. Somebody cleaned up my trash. I want to know who it is because it's my trash, not yours. I don't care. My property, my stuff. Okay. All right. So you say why? It is time for the collective to finish waking the F up. We are following protocol, but it's not Spirit's protocol. You are under contract, but it's not Spirit's contract. See, but the thing is about these contracts on earth, you have a master contract in heaven. Those contracts are interfering with these contracts. So now the spiritual realm is going to war with the physical realm. And that's everything you see in the world today. You know, when they found our ancient technology, after they went around crusades of thousands of years finding our stuff, and I wouldn't say thousands, I would say hundreds, because they like to emphasize thousands because they're trying to write themselves into our history, left and right, but they can't. They can't now. They could before. And you know that they know that we know, and they still refuse to pull the books from the shelves, the lies. They still refuse to acknowledge it. They refuse to give, and people be looking for some money. Money don't exist. They got you working for federal notes, baby. They don't say no money on that. Don't I got $5 to my name? Let me see. $5, baby. Right there. $5. You see what it says? That $5 bill says Federal Reserve note, $5. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. It don't say money nowhere right there, baby. It don't say money nowhere right there. It says it nowhere. It ain't worth shit. It ain't worth shit. And you think it's worth shit. That's why you think it's just worth something. It ain't worth a goddamn thing. And they got you working for it, spending your whole lifespan on it. It ain't worth shit. They took our gold, our silver, and our fucking copper. And then they locked us out of our ancient place, which is the Grand Canyon. You step to the Grand Canyon and you go to that fucking cave, and guess what you gonna fucking see? Armed guard ready to draw down on your ass. You come in here to these ancient ruins that we done claimed from your people, if you want to, and see what the fuck we do to you. And everybody go to work and do as they told and play the debtor and the creditor. Welcome to my podcast.